I'm making this video from London, and I made another video on a calendar that sucked. It really did suck. And this one, my son said, "What an idiot you are. Why don't you use, normal calendars like everybody else?" And maybe he's right. But I'm going to show you a calendar just to explain some Excel techniques, really. So in this calendar, I made a little password, and I'm going to put this, by the way, on the website. Oh, shoot, I don't think I have it here. I don't know if I'll get yeah. So what I'm going to do is, I haven't put it here yet, but I'm going to put it in the macros section right here. Okay. And I'll put this video somewhere down here. My God, I have a lot of macro stuff here. I think I'll put it right after the shortcuts. Okay. And here's some of the issues. Sorry, somebody sent me I've had some bad news lately. Somebody sent me a kind of a comment that my videos really suck because I don't get the point. Here's the point. I want to show you how to hide and unhide sheets. And if you wanted to just give a calendar to somebody and just show your dates without showing kind of all the details, just where you are, you could do that. And then you could protect the sheet so nobody could see kind of how to calculate that or anything. And then you could also put a little button to select some dates not to show and some dates to show if you want. Or you could just show the open dates and all of that. Okay? Now, a couple of other things. In this case, I said there's a conflict. We have March 6th, the week of March 6th, I have a conflict. There are two things that are scheduled for that same week. And we have some things where I just want to schedule a meeting in a week, so I don't want to take up the whole week. I just want to schedule a meeting. Okay? So how do you do this? So you can have a really easy way to just go into a different spreadsheet and put all your dates in for different things and have it go and put those dates on a calendar. And it's all it is using a series of match and index. But in addition to match and index, there are a couple of conditional formatting things that might be interesting to you. There are also some ways to check that you have conflicts. That might be interesting to you. Putting the dates in is just a series of match and indexes. It's two kind of, I call it a double match problem. Putting the conflict in uses a COUNTIF. Using a COUNTIF and a function, actually. You can't quite do it just with a simple COUNTIF. Putting passwords in might be something you're interested in as well. And I think that's most of the issues. So let's unhide the sheets. I'll put a password in, and then we just unhide the sheets. So why don't I start with that? Now that's easy. If I want to then assign the macro right now, I can edit this. Oh, it needs a password. I password protected it. Okay, Monica is the same password. And to hide the sheets, it's so easy, really. Some people do it a little bit fancier, and I don't get very worried about that. But in an auto open, I want to leave the first two sheets open. So I go from sheet 3 to sheets.count, and you use sheets and go to the sheet name and put .visible equals false. And when we close it, we also want to hide the sheets. And then if we want to show the sheets, we say, here's the password. And then I don't know, there are probably a million better ways to do this, but I said, okay, let's assign a test to the input box. And then if the input box equals our password, then we go to all the sheets and then make them visible. Later, I'm going to show you a function, which is a little more interesting. So that if you want to do these kind of things, these disclaimer kind of things, you can just do that with the hide sheets. Okay. Now in the calendar itself, let's go to this calendar where I show everything. Okay, I put dates for different clients. One is a full week, and another is a different week. You put the start date and the end date, and you then, once you have the start date and end date, you want to put any dates you want, any dates at all. You just want to start filling in all these dates, and then you want to have them automatically be put in here, but you want to make absolutely sure there's no conflict. Okay, so here's the way to do it. I took a lot of the stuff out. I hope I took anything sensitive out here. So the first step is to just put all you really need is a row number up here in the dates. Here, let's, you just put, this is what you really need, this row number. I guess you could do it with just a week number too. I counted a row number and a week number. Now, and then I'm going to say we start, because of classes in Saudi Arabia and Dubai and all those places, I'm going to start with a Sunday as the first day of the week. Now what you do is you just put the start date here. Okay, I should put start date. And then end date. And then the key thing is you make a match. You match the start date, but you don't put a match of 0. You just leave it out. And you put a match of the start date against this one. And then it gives you this gives you the week. So this 16th of 9 May, there's 9 May. It's in this week, so it's the match of the row number is 24. Okay, there's the match. Now once you have that match established, well, this is the stupid thing you kind of have to do, then you go over here and you put another match in, but this time you put a match, I put an if error in there as well, you match this one against the other sheet. And then, so that way you can find the row in the other sheet that works. Excuse me. Okay. Now, the other thing you can do is you can do a count if. It's a little tricky. You just do a count if on the entire column, and then for the same one you put 2. Now, if there's any duplicates, there's probably another way to do this, I'm sure. But then you can, and whenever the count if is 2, we have 2 of the same dates here, and the problem is we have the 2 weeks here, that we have this week here in Hong Kong and one in March. So I had to call my client with Europe money and tell him, what's the deal here? You got me 2 dates of the same thing. How can I be there at the same time? Okay, and then you can put in other dates like this. This, I want to put these dates in blue. Now once you put the start date and the end date, it's very much like really okay, this is just a match. This is just a match in the index. These are just indexes against the other one. Okay, and then you just put, once you have the index, you can put a conditional format, and in the conditional format, what you can do is just select the entire row, and then let's edit the rule, and then you put an and just like we do with our and in our project finance models or our corporate finance models, you say if it's greater than the start date, and if the date is less than or equal to the end date, or equal sign, then we're going to format it as a thing. So you go to using a formula and do all that. And then what you can do is I have just a second category. And for the second category, of course, should have done this with you 100 times. You press Control space bar. Shift alternate left arrow takes it out. Shift right arrow, shift alternate left arrow, shift alternate right arrow. Okay, and then if you want to just not show any of the detail, you can do this, or you can just show one category and not the other. Okay, so forth. So it's all match and index, conditional formatting. You can see how it works. And then here I have some stuff. Oops, I forgot. There's S. So if you want birthdays, I suppose if you're going to do this next year, you could almost put just the day and the month and then add the week to it later. But we put the, then you do the same thing. You match this against the calendar, find out what the week is. This time I used column B actually for the week. And then you go back, and this time I don't want to worry about a conflict because I might want to have one of these red dates, you know, during which we have the other dates. And then you can just show what the issue is or the thing is. You could put individual meetings in, so you can do all your kind of color coding. And then, you know, I like to just put this stuff in Excel. I know, whatever, Outlook, I don't use Outlook because what the hell, I don't know. Okay, and then here's what we do. Then we can really check to make sure we have conflicts. Now I'm just checking. This one doesn't have a conflict, but these two, I want to make sure we don't have a conflict. So now we just do the same kind of count if. Now I think this was a little more interesting. So we count all the first weeks, count all the second weeks. Okay, and then if we do the count if, and if it's greater than 1, we say there's a conflict. So in this case, we had 2 week 15s, and I put those, and then I do another conditional formatting. And when I do this conditional formatting, I select the whole entire sheet. Okay, and then when you select the whole entire sheet, okay, then you always have to start at the top. Now, when you insert a row or column, sometimes it gives you a little bit of a problem, but I think that's okay. All right, and then we can, now, once this is true, we can put when the conflict in. Now, this is the little trickier thing. So I have 2 dates of the same thing, and I want up here to put a conflict. Now, I use add text. Now, you could just simply add these texts together, but you'd have, so whenever it's not blank, you want to show it. The problem is if you have 2 of the same dates. So this was a little bit more difficult of a user-defined function. I think now I can edit this. And this one was saying, okay, now this application volatile, we didn't really need it. I'll say why. We go to the whole series. So we say, let's add the text of this whole column. And if the text isn't equal to a blank, then what we do is we say, let's take where we started from and go up one and go back all the way to the top. And if we happen to hit the same date, here we hit the same date, then skip all this. Otherwise, if we haven't hit the date, that means it's the first one. And then we just keep accumulating the text. So I've shown the add text in a whole lot of other videos, but that's how you can add the text and make sure you don't duplicate it here. Okay, now in what I did is I sent an email. So what I like here is you can just kind of click on the email. And they told me, well, you know, when you did this, oh, what the hell, I can't find this. This one that we had originally had a conflict. So let's see, that was this, this thing in Miami it didn't say. So this thing that we had a conflict with is 30th May to 6th June. So I'm going to copy this. And this one we can see which one has a conflict. Oh, here it is. So they told me to change it. So I change it, and it's in Singapore now. I'm so sad about Singapore. I had a wonderful client who says they don't want me anymore. So goddamn sad. All right, I'm such a shitty teacher. Maybe that's my problem. Okay, then we put this in, and now, oh no, hang on, did it not? Now we have 0 here. Now sometimes, here's the problem. Here's the problem. When you do a function like this, I've noticed, don't ask me why, ask Excel why. Sometimes it doesn't update. And anybody who tells you this application volatile will work is full of crap. What you have to do is name the range, and then when you name the range, you have to go to and recalculate the range. That's the only way I've figured out how to do it, just purely by trial and error. So I didn't run the macro, that's why it didn't change. But now we have no problems, and what we could do is put a little if this equals 0, then we no, let's not do that. You know, we should put true or something like that. I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother with that right now. Okay, so now we don't have any conflicts. Okay, and I tried to, in this, so you can put all your sample contacts, you can clip the the stuff from your emails and stuff here. You can choose this just true and false. It says I don't want to. I want to choose not to show any of these things over here. So what you do there is you just click on this one, and we just have a little true false test. You can look at the file to see how that works. And then in the last one, I think I tried to. So I talked about the 2 matches. It's really kind of 2 matches you use. Then and where you use them. So you first, get the row number or something and the dates. Then you put the dates in, and then you, in the calendar sheet, you use a second match and then an index, and how to use the conditional formatting and testing of all the dates. So that's our calendar. I'm sorry about the last thing. I'm gonna remove the last video I did on this and rename it. I called it a cool calendar. It's really not that cool at all. So we can now hide the sheets. Whoops, that's unhide. We can hide the sheets, and then we can give it to somebody, and all they see is this stuff. They don't see where all this comes from, and since you've protected the sheet, they can't really do anything with it. I don't think they can. Okay, so you can just say, here are my open dates, tell me and get back to me. All right, and you can keep things flexible and confidential, and I don't know, and nobody will actually use this, I'm sure, but you can see some Excel functions with it. So goodbye. Hello, this is a video on making a schedule, a diary, and I know that you use Google, whatever it is, or Outlook or something like this. But what we're going to do is Alt-E-M first. Let's put this in a new book. Okay, first. Alright, I should have said create a copy. Since I didn't, I'm going to delete this one. Okay, Shift Tab. Uh-oh. Oh no, no. Why doesn't Control Tab and Control F6 doesn't work either? So for some reason, since I put it in a new book now, they made all this pretty artwork. The very first thing let's do is let's get rid of all this crap, and let's see what's really the input. So let's put no fill, and let's put this in black. Let's take away all of the, okay, and here's what we really want to do. We press F5 and go to special, and when it's a constant, and not a text, let's make it a blue color, okay, so Now we can see what's really stay ahead of this. Alright, and so here, these are the dates. The start date and the end date. That's the real input we're going to use. Now this week, the number of days in the week out there. So now, I think I'm going to redo a couple of these calculations here for you. If you have the date that's input, if you put text and go to the date, and now this is different in different languages. So if it was French, it would be JJ for jour. I assume if it's in German, it would be T for Tag, and so forth, Control R, and then we can double click, and it looks like, well, maybe they always start with one. That probably is true. No, that's fine. I have that. Okay. Watch me though. I never use that. Oh, that's good. Okay, and then we copy this to this one, and then we double click. Did it just change it? Okay. Again, I have no prejudice against the mouse. No silly rule. Now what we want to do is be able to, you know, add these lines as we go on. And of course, not of course, but we can take the end date minus the start date plus 1. Why I said of course I don't know, because we need to add 1 whenever you do these kind of date things. Alright, and now let's press Shift F11, and we're going to make a calendar. And the calendar is going to be really flexible, so we could put any date here in any order. We could add in any more dates, and when we add in the dates, it's going to show us. It's going to show us if there's it's going to put a nice conditional format in, and show us exactly when the start of the week is and the end of the week, and then it's going to put where we are and what kind of project we're working on. Okay? So let's just go there, and let's put the day, the start day. But let's put the okay. So we might want to do this in for a different date. Shift Control 3, of course. Now let's start with Sunday. Here's why we start with Sunday, because of Dubai. And let's put equal this date. Now I'm doing this kind of manually, -5. Is that right? If I put text, this, and I'm going to there we go. And then we'll just add 1. That was kind of cheating what I just did. I kind of knew that ahead of time. Did I add? Well, we need to add 1 more. Okay, so there's our start of the year. Okay, now what we're going to do is make the whole, we're going to do this for the whole year. So let's put a week. And I think we're going to need 53 weeks. If you do Alt-EIS, everything is simple, everybody is stupid, the Egyptian Intelligence Service, environmental impact statement, you know, Alt-EIS, Control C, no, Alt-C. Why Alt-C there and others have Control C? Do you know? I wonder. Somebody's got to help me on some of this stuff. Now the next date, we'll just add 1. And then we can select this, arrow down, Control D. Okay, and then we can select the whole thing, use the mouse, and then we can press Control down, arrow, and we get all the way to December. So that's our date. And I suppose we could try this for the next year, and then we'd have to maybe adjust this one thing up here. Okay? Now, the next thing is, the next thing is kind of a circle, round and around, match index, match index, match index, match index. But the first thing we do is we do it kind of backwards. And this is why almost I'm showing you this. If you put match and we'll match this date against the, let's match it against the week, okay? And let's press F4, and then don't put 0, because you just want to know in general what week it is. Now you better go down here in case we have some more, okay? I suppose I'll even leave this as NA. So we'll do a formatting. I suppose you could do this. If you do a format on this one, conditional formatting, go to new rule, and for this, on this formula, you just put equal is NA, and if you want to just click on this one, and then if you format that, you can format that to keep the color out of it. You could go to this one on the font, press OK, and then I suppose just paint this, color the formatting. Okay. Oops. What did I do wrong? Alright. Oh, shoot. We're going to do this again later, so I'm going to come back to that. Oh, that's horrible. That should have worked. And then now on this one, let's put the row number. And then after put the row number, we'll put the start date, and then the end date, and then the location, and the project. Okay, and the row number, we're going to use another match, but this time, when you use the match, let's take this week number, so we go to this one and match it against this week. And this time, we don't have to push any F4s and anything else, but we do need a 0. Okay, so we have nothing on that one. Double click, and then, excuse me. Okay. That is just goddamn right. Okay, I had to just start over, and I'm in Ethiopia. It's great they let me stay at the hotel. It made me so much feel better, so I'm not even swearing too much. So what I did now, I'm not sure exactly why we got this thing to blow up, but let me redo this project row. You put a match, and then we go to the week, and then because this thing here matched against the week number, and I'm not sure I did it wrong last time, but the match had to be against the date, not the week number. I think I might have done that wrong. This time we need an exact match. Okay, and then we can double click. Now once you have the exact match, then it starts to be really easy. We can put the start date. Okay, and we put index, and then we click on the start date first, and then you have the date. Okay, and then we put the end date, and the location, and the project. And each of these are done with each of these are done with a thing. Okay, and we put the project. Where's the location? Why? What happened here? Oh, they just gave me I don't get to go to Canada. Shit. Okay, and then we put this index, and we go to the project. Essentially, leave top of it. Okay, and then we'll double click, Okay, and then we, now, look at that, it kind of puts all this stuff in. Now we have some formatting. And the formatting we'll do is number one, we'll make a different color whenever the start date and the end date's here. On this end date, we better press Shift Control 3, shouldn't we? Okay, so for the start date, we'll just select the whole thing and press, and then go to Conditional Formatting. Now, if this doesn't work, don't yell at me, please, because I will always use a formula. And then when we go to the formula, here's the thing up, you go to the top right. Whoops, well, I thought we were in Conditional Format. Okay, I better save this file. Okay, let's go to Conditional Formatting again. I don't know what just happened. We might have to delete a rule just now. So we go to this one, and then we want to make this, it's kind of exactly like what we do in a financial model. This has to be greater than or equal to the start date and less than or equal to the end date. So we put an and, and we click on this date, and then you make sure and take all the F4s out, make it less than or equal to the start date, and then you press the F4 to get the thing, and then you go back to your date, F4, take it all away, and put it less than or equal to the end date. And of course, I'm going to have to fix this one. This was supposed to be greater than or equal to. Stupid thing. We'll do it again. One more time. It's worth doing again, so I could tell you that I made that mistake on purpose. I'll tell you I did. Of course I lied. F4, and we make it greater than or equal to the start date. F4. And we take the same date. F4s are gone, less than or equal to the end date. F4 on the beginning. And then if that happens, let's make a format. And how about let's put a fill color of yellow or something, okay? And that's okay. And the damn thing didn't work. Just a minute. It should have worked. Okay, what happened? I've never seen this happen before, but it put little double quotes in. I should have left the video on. But it did work. Let's go to Conditional Format and Manage Rules and show you what happens when you edit the rule. It put a little quote at the beginning and the end of this for some reason. That's Excel's fault, not mine. Don't blame me on that. Okay. Now we'll do the same thing here, and let's get rid of all the NAs. So what that means is then we can add more projects to our heart's content down here. We can add all the different projects as long as we kind of don't forget this little thing, and then we'll put them in our calendar. So what we do is we select this whole thing and go to Conditional Format, and then go to New Rule, and this time we'll do the same sort of thing, but equal. Maybe I didn't put the equal sign. Did I? I can't. Is NA. Now, when you do this, again, I don't know why, I'm sure there's a highly logical reason for this. You have to start at the beginning. So, if it's the NA, no if statement, if it's the NA, that's all we want to do. Then we want to format it differently. And then we go to Format, and we, for the fill, we can still use, well, let's go to the font and just make a white font. Okay, and now when we do that, then we'll also, I think, get rid of the grid lines. Okay, actually, You don't even have to get rid of the grid lines. Okay? I'm going to leave the grid lines in. And I'm going to call that a stop of the video. Okay?